Before ancient Greece emerged, and before the Roman Empire dominated Europe, there existed highly advanced civilizations that later mysteriously disappeared, leaving very little trace for later generations. Among them, the Minoan civilization and the story of Atlantis are two of the greatest mysteries of ancient European history. The Minoan civilization formed around 3000 BC on the island of Crete, located in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, and is considered the earliest developed civilization in Europe. The Minoans mastered the seas, became wealthy through trade, and built massive palaces such as Knossos with complex labyrinth-like structures, along with drainage systems and architectural techniques far ahead of their time. Minoan society was remarkable in that women held a high status, art was vibrant, and life was relatively peaceful, reflected in the fact that they did not build defensive city walls. However, around 1600 BC, a catastrophic disaster occurred when the volcano of Santorini erupted violently, causing tsunamis, earthquakes, and ash clouds that covered much of the Mediterranean region, crippling the Minoan economy and trade networks. After this disaster, many theories suggest that the Mycenaeans from mainland Greece invaded Crete, or that the Minoan civilization gradually declined due to natural disasters, warfare, and internal instability until it completely disappeared from history. When mentioning Minos, many people immediately think of the Minotaur, and below I will retell the story briefly so it is easy to understand. To prove his power, King Minos prayed to the sea god Poseidon to grant him a sacred white bull. But when the bull appeared, it was so beautiful that Minos could not bear to sacrifice it as he had promised. This act of breaking his vow angered the gods. Poseidon punished King Minos with a terrible curse. Queen Pasiphae fell madly in love with the sacred bull, and from this cursed union was born the Minotaur, a creature half man and half bull, fierce and bloodthirsty. Out of shame and fear, King Minos ordered the brilliant craftsman Daedalus to build a gigantic labyrinth beneath the palace of Knossos to imprison the monster. The labyrinth was so complex that anyone who entered could never escape. To feed the Minotaur, King Minos forced the city of Athens each year to send young men as tribute, who were thrown into the labyrinth as sacrifices. This continued until Prince Theseus volunteered to enter the labyrinth to kill the Minotaur. With the help of Princess Ariadne, Theseus carried a ball of thread, releasing it as he went, so that he could find his way back out after slaying the monster. Ariadne's thread thus became a symbol of finding a way out of chaos. Although many historians believe this story is not merely mythology, but a distorted memory of the Greeks about the power of the Minoans. The labyrinth may in fact have been the palace of Knossos itself, with hundreds of interconnected rooms, while the Minotaur symbolized bull worship rituals or the frightening power of the Minoan maritime empire. From the story of the Minoans, many people begin to draw connections to Atlantis, the legendary city mentioned by the philosopher Plato more than 2,300 years ago. He described it as an extremely wealthy civilization, possessing great power and advanced technology. Yet it was submerged beneath the ocean in just one day and one night. For centuries, humanity has endlessly debated whether Atlantis truly existed, with some theories suggesting that Atlantis was the Minoan civilization destroyed by a natural catastrophe, while other theories place Atlantis in the Atlantic Ocean or view it merely as an allegorical tale used by Plato to warn against human arrogance and ambition. To this day, there is still no archaeological evidence confirming the existence of Atlantis, but history has shown that cities once considered mythical, such as Troy, were eventually discovered. Therefore, the question of Atlantis and forgotten European civilizations remains open, reminding us that history is not only made up of what has been recorded, but also of what has vanished over time, perhaps waiting to be rediscovered by humanity in the future.